You know, if there's one thing that I never really thought that we'd do on this stream, it's talk about Vshojo, right? I feel like that's like the one thing that I usually try to stray away from, because if I'm gonna be honest, that company scares me. But that's neither here nor there. Today, we're talking about a few tweets that Vshojo put out recently, starting with, well, this one, ignore the date meter on the top left of your screen. But basically, Vshojo sent out a message a couple days ago saying, dear community members, we would like to share that Giga will be parting ways with Vshojo as of June 27th, 2025. Giga has been an incredible member of Vshojo since she joined in 2023. Her humor and collaborative spark have shaped Vshojo's culture, and we're excited to keep cheering her on in this next chapter. The impact that she's had on Vshojo will not be forgotten on stream and behind the scenes. Giga will keep her IP and wish her the best on this journey moving forward. TLDR, Giga is leaving Vshojo as of literally today. Now, here's the funny part about that message. Literally today, Vshojo puts out yet another statement saying, dear community members, we would like to share that Zentreya will be parting ways with Vshojo as of July 11th. Zen has truly shaped Vshojo, being one of our original members since 2020. From communicating with a notepad on stream to Zen's current TTS setup, it's amazing to see how far things have come. Among her many talents has been bringing together Vshojo and non-Vshojo members alike for collaborations, helping to drive inclusivity among creators. Given now, I apparently cannot read. But given now Zen's contributions to Vshojo community as a whole have made a lasting impact, we're sincerely thankful for our time working together. Zen will keep her IP, and we wish her the best on this next leg of her journey. TLDR, everyone is leaving Vshojo. We saw this a couple months ago when the co-founder of Vshojo himself left Vshojo, and everyone thought, wow, what? Well, at least I thought then, you know, what in the heck is happening at Vshojo? And I'm not here to say that I have any information, because I don't, and I was allowed to say this on stream, but Mountain Dew himself, the co-founder of Vshojo, said that I was allowed to say that I've hung out with him IRL, because we did hang out IRL a couple times after he left Vshojo. He said I was allowed to say that on camera. That's as much as I'll say. And you know, TLDR, I will say he seems like from my opinion, a chill guy, but I've been told that I am not a good judge of character. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm saying that I think he is an incredible guy. But more importantly, right, I don't know. I genuinely do not know what is happening at Vshojo. What I do know, though, is that today, in the interest of us all, we have some information as to what is going on with Vshojo, courtesy of Giga herself, who made a video aptly titled, I left Vshojo. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna figure out what is happening at Vshojo. I'm gonna weigh my opinions because you guys care about those opinions. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna see whether or not we agree with what she's saying. But I already kind of figured, like, you know, maybe I might agree with half of what she's saying, because I don't like VTuber agencies in general. And I've been very, very open about that since the beginning. And that does include agencies like Vshojo. Let us begin.
I am leaving Vshojo. I'm leaving Vshojo. Sorry if this was a surprise. However, there's literally no way for this to not be a surprise. So, I mean, what can you do? That's fair. A choice I made. This is a choice I had been considering for quite some time. This is a choice I had been thinking about a lot. This was not a quick decision or anything like that. This is something that was a lot of thought. And I want to say I announced this Wednesday, 2 days before the actual leaving date. I want to make sure you know this wasn't announced because it was just decided then or anything like that. This is something that was decided a while back, and then this is just our announcement date and our departure date. There were a few people that saw the announcement and were like, oh my god, this is such short notice. You decided and then you're leaving in 2 days. But no, it was a longer process than that. Okay.
Yeah, I figure, like, in terms of like when companies decide to release talents, or when talents decide to leave companies, usually it is a process that takes a few months, if not sometimes several months to a year. And I imagine that this was already decided. Granted, the Gigas have been Vshojo, I think, for about a year now. And so a lot of people are probably confused by this, and they're probably like, oh my god, like, what is like happening here? And you know, maybe she just decided this a few months ago, or a few weeks ago, and it comes to a shock for everyone involved. But you know, I digress. Just trying to give you some insight.
This is a very sad and upsetting thing for me. At the same time, it's bittersweet because there are a lot of good things that are coming out of this, which is why I made this decision. And I'll talk
more money. It's always more money. I mean, no offense to agencies, but like taking half your talent's money. I'm not saying Vshojo takes half of their talent's money, but most agencies take half of their talent's money. And I would like to imagine that a lot of these people who are in these agencies realize, I could be making more money. Like, just fun fact for you guys. I'm gonna lay it out there for a second right now. Did you know that most indie VTubers make way more money than a lot of the corporate talents? Just fun fact for you right there.
Talk about, you know, the future and what I can do and etc. so that you understand that. But the way I'm speaking about this is going to be really Matter of fact, there's a lot of stuff that I cannot say. Again, I am under or have been under contract, and I am always going to be under NDA, you know,
that makes
things
sense.
like that.
That makes sense.
And there are a lot of legal reasons why I won't be able to go into certain things. So if I can't say something or I can't comment on it, it's okay if you ask, if you go in my chat and you're like, what about this? And I can't say it. I won't just gloss over it. I'll just go, hey, I can't answer that, you know, so you know, because I want to be very, as much as I can be, very open and honest on that. I've gotten to process a lot of this, so I feel very comfortable talking about it and all that. Sorry for not crying in this video or whatever, but again, this is something that has been a long time coming. As far as my members go, there's no world in which I don't want to be in a group with them. From a social perspective, from a personal perspective, I love them so much.
Okay.
Vshojo isn't just a group of some creators and that's it. It's a company. It's a company with staff and all of this. And at the end of the day, if what I want and how I want to do things doesn't align with the company side of things, then my choice is, do I want to work with the company or not, right? It's a bit.
And that makes sense, right? Like at the end of the day, she doesn't have to be a part of this company to remain friends with the people who are in this company. She can continue to be friends with the rest of the talents, but she doesn't necessarily have to be a member. And that's how it started for Giga. If you guys remember, Giga was just a friend of a few of the talents in the company, and then she ended up joining the company post haste, and then, you know, became a part of the company. But maybe now she doesn't agree with the direction that the company is going in, and so now she's just choosing to leave said company. If you can believe that. Hello, Penumbral in my chat. I can't believe that Penumbral is not only in my Twitch chat, but he's also in my house. Fun fact for everybody watching this right now. He's literally in my house. I haven't seen him in so long. This house is so big. To be fair, he could be in any room. I don't know.
Business thing. So I want to make that really, really, really clear. The members have nothing to do with this decision other than making leaving really difficult for me because I have so much love for them and I do love being in a group with them. And I want that. However, they're my friends, right? They're my friends. And if I want to do things with them, I can DM them and ask them to do things with me. They can, if they want to be my friend, they can DM me and say, hey, do you want to do this? That is something that has always been the case, something that will always be the case. So,
which is actually very nice, right?
A lot of people did ask, like, oh my God, can you still be with the members, right? Can you still do things with them? Can you still collab? Will you still be? Yeah, I just have to DM them. I don't think it will feel any different from your guys' perspective, but I just want to make that clear because I
mean, it's always kind of been like a Vshojo and friends type situation, and I imagine that this is just going to be like that, where sure, if these talents are leaving Vshojo, they will still have the friends that they made within Vshojo. I mentioned that earlier. I don't want to just go around saying the same thing over and over again, but you guys get it, right? That's the TLDR to all of this so far. But like, maybe she gives more details so at this video. I haven't watched this video yet, so we'll see.
People asked. As they said in their tweet, you know, Vshojo mentioned I did work a lot internally and externally to promote, improve, move forward the brand, the company. I absolutely did. And a lot of the stuff that I did is not stuff that you guys would ever see. You would never see the hours put in. The results of these things you wouldn't even see. You know, this is stuff that just was, a lot of it was purely back end. There were some things that didn't get over the finish line that I want to be able to do now, etc. I don't know how to say this other than like, hey man, I put a lot of time in. Sorry it wasn't stuff that you could see, but I really, really, really did. And the good thing that comes out of this with me being independent.
Wait, okay, hold on. Was Giga secretly working as like a Vshojo staffer and a talent? Is that like what we're getting at right now? I just went to touch my glasses and I realized my glasses aren't on my face right now and I feel naked without them. I don't know. How does one stream without glasses? How am I able to read the chat right now? Am I not blind anymore?
Is a lot of that time that I spent working on something internal is now just my own time that I reclaim, right? It's just my own time that I can use for example, YouTube videos that I want to do. There were a lot of stream ideas that I had that some of them I kind of did initially and then didn't do for a while. I want to be able to do those. On top of this, you know, so much of what I was doing, like on this channel, for example, I was so focused on the group, pushing forward like good PR. You know, I joined during a year when the group had just lost a bunch of talents and then one joined and then it was me. There was still a lot of uncertainty. There were a lot of people just kind of like sitting there like what's gonna happen, you know? And so my goal was to do positive, good PR realistically, right? And just talk about my experience and talk about a lot of things. And I ended up doing so much of that on my own channel that I felt like looking back, back, I went, I really didn't go over a lot of the topical stuff that I wanted to initially before I started, doing a lot of these videos.
So, I mean, what it sounds like so far is that maybe she felt like she lost a bit of her identity joining this group, and she did a lot of things for the group and less so for herself, which kind of makes sense. It's like when you start working a job and you realize everything you do is for the job, and you slowly feel less and less like a person. I'm not trying to say everybody here watching this video right now should quit their jobs, but maybe look inside yourself for a bit and recognize, what do you want to do in life? All right, Bobby, Joanne, little Timmy watching this video right now, Sylvester, I don't know, is your name William? John? Whoever's watching this video right now, all right, I need you to go outside, figure out what you want to do, and go do it right now.
I don't know, I feel like we still hit some of it, and a lot of people really loved a lot of that stuff, but I want to make sure that that is the lion's share of what's being done. So in the future, a lot of the topics that I had, a lot of the ideas for video formats that I had, all of these things, those are all moving forward, which is going to be really nice. I'm excited for that. For the future, I come from a background that's like...
Not someone in the chat saying I'm unemployed. That is crazy. How did we get to this point, chat? Are we all unemployed? Is that what you guys are watching me right now? Type 1 if you're unemployed right now, okay? Actually, don't do that. I don't want you to embarrass yourself.
Like very ultra corporate, working in big companies. So I'm excited to be 100% the owner of all operations, business stuff, setting up communications, how we're going to do things, etc. I like working with a small team on this. I like very collaborative work, and being able to have their input on it as well. And that's what I'll be able to do as an indie. I feel like that suits me really well. I don't dislike doing things in bigger structures necessarily. I don't hate that. It just, for right now, I think this is what I need. On top of that, here are things that I can talk about for sure. Merch control and all that, being able to be involved in decision making and doing everything with deciding, I want this, I want that, I want this number of these things. I kind of already did. I was always able to work with who I wanted. I was always able to be very involved, and that's not going to change. Merch will be available. The link to the store will be a different link, and that's probably the only difference you'll feel. Other benefits of doing things myself being indie is like I just full control over legal and financial as well, right? Just I have my own lawyer hired in for everything financial. I am overseeing 100%.
Okay.
All the information on how everything's going and what status everything's at, aggregated in front of me all the time, is good. Because
this sounds like okay, what it is it's literally a corporate breakup, and like I imagine that doing this is extremely stressful, because like if you go from being an indie to then a corporate to then back to being an indie, you for a period of time sign everything that you own to be partially owned by another company, and then you have to go ahead and break that like agreement to then go back on your own, which Vshojo has always been really good about doing stuff like that, but like I imagine it's just a very stressful process, and it's probably a weirdly enough expensive process when you really think about it. So like, I'm glad that she's able to do this. Right? Glad that she's able to go ahead and say, hey, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Can I leave? And Vshojo's like, yeah, let's do the separation. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
Because I'm a streamer, right? I'm a content creator. I need to be the point person on a lot of this for me to function the way I want. Same thing with sponsorships, kind of similar to the merch, where most of the sponsorship stuff I did myself anyway. Again, a vast majority of sponsorships are things where I have a direct relationship with some company already, and that's how I facilitate a lot of this stuff. Or they email me and I just talk to them.
As well,
as far as events
right
go.
When it comes to everything that she's listed so far, merch, sponsors, we're about to see events, but to everything she's mentioned so far, it sounds a lot like Vshojo did nothing for her, right? And I don't want to jump the gun on this, but it genuinely just sounds like, yeah, while she did a lot to try to help promote the company, it's sounding a lot like the company did nothing for her, and she's realizing that. She's realizing, I've signed away, let's say 50% of my income to help this company, but in turn I've had to do everything myself, and the company hasn't helped me, right? That's what I'm getting from this. I could be completely wrong, and that doesn't necessarily mean that she hates the company. That's not necessarily saying that the company is evil or bad or anything like that. It just sounds like she didn't agree with how things were going, and she decided, you know what, I could just do this all on my own again.
I have a lot planned with that too. You'll still see me having a big presence at a lot of conventions, as I always did. We're gonna do walkarounds. We're gonna do things.
It's a bit mean, Evan. Shut up, Umbro.
Meet and greets and all of that.
It might just be that she wanted to do everything herself too. That's true.
With third party anyway. So that's not really going to change.
Yeah, so it's sounding like a lot of everything that she's mentioned so far, merch, events, sponsorships, she's done herself. And Vshojo didn't help her with any of that stuff. So she's leaving the company to continue doing that herself.
The only difference is if you go to AX and you see a Vshojo booth or something and you see a bunch of faces plastered on the side, my face is not going to be one of the faces plastered on the side. That's really it. Like, you won't see that, but if you turn around and look across the hall, my face will probably be over there. Okay, so last thing, there were a couple of FAQs I announced on during my stream and on Twitter that I was leaving. There were people asking the same questions over and over, so I wanted to state the answers here just to keep that really clear. I did have my editor grab stuff from my stream and put that on my clips channel, so there is that as well. You may have already seen that, but I just wanted to put it here. Number one, are you graduating? No, this is not a graduation. If anyone's like, what does that mean? Because you don't watch VTubers a lot. That's when a VTuber retires their character. No, this is not that. I'll be streaming as usual. My schedule has not changed at all. I'm still gonna be Giga. I've owned all of my channels the whole time. Literally everything I've always owned. Out before, during, and after Vshojo. You know, none of that's changing. Are you gonna keep streaming? It's kind of in the same vein.
The answer seems like it's gonna be yes.
Again, my schedule's not changing.
And I imagine Zentrea is gonna do the same thing, right? Like, Zentrea is not graduating. Zentrea is also
Vshojo members,
just going ahead and leaving the company.
Absolutely. The members are my friends first and foremost. So again, if we want to collab, they want to collab with me, that's going to happen. That was the way it was before I joined. They invited me to the Minecraft server because I was a friend of theirs. I wasn't even slated to join the group or in talks about joining the group or anything like that. When they asked me to join, they were just like, we like you, you're our friend, join our Minecraft server, you know? And I was allowed to do that. I don't see any reason why things like that can't still happen. Last question that a lot of people had was, oh my God, what's happening to your merch? Because I do have merch stocked and we were just selling it off of the Vshojo site. But now the Vshojo site for my merch is closing Friday the 27th. It'll be done. You know, if you didn't get to get any of that and you're like, but I really wanted that thing. I don't know exactly what's going to happen yet. We're still talking about it. There's so many back end loose ends still being tied up as far as like small things like that go. I'll let you know when I know, here, Discord, Twitter, everywhere, once I know what's happening with it.
I imagine that part is going to be a little bit rough, right? Like, imagine you have this stock of merch that then you would need to either buy out and then sell through a different company, or it just gets discontinued forever. That just sounds incredibly frustrating to try to figure out. And, you know, I'm sure she's going to figure it out. I'm sure that everybody who bought merch is going to be fine in that vein of things. And it'll be a fun time for everybody that wants merch. On the other hand, though, TLDR to all of this so far, yeah, she's left Vshojo. It seems like she's going to be fine. It seems like nothing's going to change in the stream space for her. I would assume, again, the same thing for Zen. I mean, Zen made their message about it on Twitter as well. And then also, realistically speaking, like, it just seems like Giga just likes being independent. And, you know, she's always thrived in that environment, and she's just going to go back to thriving in that environment, right?
But I'm going to be given some options, and I'm going to choose, you know, what I feel like doing. If I take the merch myself, I just take it, I just have it. It will just be on a different link, and that's it, in its own store. I might not, I don't know, I'm not sure yet. I probably will, we'll see. I'll keep you updated.
Buying a stock of merch,
any updates related to anything in the future, I usually post on Discord first. You can ask questions in Discord, mods will ping me and be like, hey, you know, what about this? So if you want a quick answer to anything, my Discord is the best spot to go to. Twitter, I will inform people. On here in this community tab, I will inform people. I'll just keep it updated. Yeah, if you care about any of that, if that's something you were worried about, that's where to go. And that is all. I want to say, I said this on stream, I want to say it again. This was a business decision. This didn't have anything to do with the members. This didn't have anything to do with anything that the business might have coming up, any specific decisions that they made. It wasn't like one thing or a specific thing that caused this. This was an overall, looking at everything in front of me, I wanted to make this decision, kind of decision, right?
That makes sense.
If someone tries to point out something, they think it's this, they think it's that, and I didn't explicitly say it myself, they made it up. They made it up.
Oh, okay? No!
Have a good one.
We made it up, guys. I didn't even say anything. All right, I never assumed anything while watching this video, which is fair. Like I said, I mean, like, realistically, it just sounds like she just wanted to leave, right? At the end of the day, she just straight up wanted to leave, and you know, maybe that's Zen's reason as well. And you know, that makes sense because at the end of the day, when you really think about it, right? Like, why be a part of a company when you could do a lot of this stuff yourself? Why be a part of a company when you yourself can just be a creator, create, and also handle the business side? And now it sucks trying to do all that stuff on your own sometimes, but like for some people, they thrive doing that. And I think a lot of creators in at least the IRL space, less so the VTuber space, have just been doing that for years, where they don't have a company above them. It's just them and themselves working through everything. And I think, personally speaking, more VTubers should try to do that, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it because I know some people will disagree with me. I hate VTuber agencies. I've always hated VTuber agencies. I think that they're all trash. No offense to any of them, but like they're kind of shit, right? You just kind of take money from creators for mostly virtually no reason. And you know, yeah, I think creators lose out on a lot because of that. And so I'm always happy when I see a creator go out of their way to try to be independent and do things on their own. Not saying Vshojo is a bad company. I'm just saying that in the world of VTuber agencies, you know, I don't really respect too many of them. And that's always been my opinion. You guys have known this for years. So I'm happy for Giga. I'm very happy. I'm happy that Vshojo has always been a company that has allowed people to leave amicably and keep their IP and all that stuff. And I'm excited to see where the company goes, where Giga goes, where Zentreya goes, and everybody else that either decides to leave or stay with Vshojo in the future. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts, really. I don't know what else to say. Okay, subscribe to the channel for more of whatever the hell this is. Bye.